You know, you guys, I think I can pretty confidently say that from what we've seen of the 2022 NBA playoffs so far, that many different teams, whether it be because of injury, self-imploding, or pretty much anything else that you can think of, have already been through a roller coaster of ups and downs just 3 to 4 games actually into this postseason. And while there are so many different teams we can discuss regarding this, there is one on my mind right now that I feel we absolutely need to talk about. And if you haven't figured out yet, it is the current situation going on with the Milwaukee Bucks. And honestly, it doesn't seem like it's just their team being sent through this metaphorical roller coaster, but they're also somehow taking the NBA world with them, and this should not be the case, so let's get into it. One sec though, guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss another NBA video. Love you guys. And for those of you that haven't yet, believe me, now is the perfect time to do so, because according to my numbers, over 95% of you guys coming back to watch the content haven't even subscribed yet. So for any of you that do, thank you so much. But anyway, to get back into the situation in Milwaukee, after a very shaky first 2 games of this opening round series, having to deal with what looked like at the time a completely different and rejuvenated Bulls team compared to the regular season, and to top it all off, a Khris Middleton MCL sprain that was said at the time to sideline him for at least 3 weeks. I mean, I'm willing to bet that you guys saw everything I did, because people weren't just questioning the Bucks' ability to repeat, but it was seriously up for debate by so many different people regarding if the Bucks were even going to be able to win this series. And of course, I myself did have some concerns regarding this team and what they were going to be able to do going forward with all things considered, but with Milwaukee being dragged into this situation, it seemed like they pulled the entire world into the trap with them. Because it's not just like this team is barely sneaking by, but they have had a greater turnaround in the last 2 games than almost anyone could have anticipated. And with what we have been witnessing out of the Milwaukee Bucks, it's made me think of a few things to mention off the top of my head. One is that no matter what happens in every single year when the playoffs roll around, even when things seem to get crazier year by year, is that we as NBA fans will truly never learn our lesson and the overreactions will just continue to pour in. But also, it's that with what we're seeing out of the Bucks right now, is that it is eerily similar to a path we've seen this team take in the past. And you might be wondering what I mean by that, so let's talk about it. And before we get into this and some people get upset, I just want to make it clear that every single championship run in NBA history is unique in its own way. Everyone is different, almost everyone required some luck going their way in order to obtain the championship. I just needed to make that clear. But anyway, do any of you guys remember the Bucks championship run last year when they were matched up in the first round with their kryptonite at the time in the Miami Heat, which was honestly a series where many were split 50-50. But either way, after a very difficult game 1 and barely sneaking out with a win, once again many were questioning if the Bucks could win this series. Then, of course, after the blink of an eye, the Bucks absolutely demolished the Heat over the last 3 games of the series and easily coast into the second round. Some of you might be wondering what this has to do with anything, but trust me, it'll make sense soon. So now let's fast forward to round 2, where the Bucks were matched up with a widely referred to superior team in the Brooklyn Nets. And after losing games 1 and 2 in Brooklyn by a combined 47 points, Milwaukee goes on to win 4 of the next 5 games and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then in that conference final against the Atlanta Hawks, the Bucks lose game 1 at home to the surprise of almost everyone. And then what happened? Well, the Bucks go on to win 4 of the next 5, 2 of them being without Giannis, and of course advancing to the NBA Finals. And then we have the icing on the cake as the Bucks lose the first 2 games of the NBA Finals, simply being outplayed by the Phoenix Suns, which, as you all know, was immediately followed up by a 4-game sweep, and of course the rest is history. So I'm hoping you guys see the trend that I'm trying to point out here, as the formation this opening round series is taking is almost identical to what we saw in every single series they were a part of last year. So the Bucks, they might just honestly be terrible in the opening portion of a series. It could be as simple as that, but it's definitely not, as the Khris Middleton injury is not the only hurdle they'll have to overcome, because I also think it's clear that the gauntlet the Bucks are going to have to go through is more challenging this year, at least to get to the finals. But with that, I'm definitely not saying it can't be done, because I do think there are many different reasons you can point to as to why the Bucks will be be able to repeat this season. And I mean, the first reason can be as simple as the fact that this is relatively the same roster they are retaining from their championship run last season, because besides the absence of PJ Tucker, the Bucks also added what seems to be a playoff X factor so far in Grayson Allen, and I'm not sure if these vengeance numbers against Chicago are going to be able to continue throughout the postseason. But regardless of that fact, he is just another vital piece added to this existing rotation that has gained nothing but experience since their prior run. So along with this and the Khris Middleton injury, depending not really if, but more so when he returns in the second round, this is really going to pose the biggest threat to the Bucks' ability to repeat, at least in my own eyes. Now don't get me wrong, the Bucks' ability to adjust their rotation and scheming with this injury against the Chicago Bulls has been reassuring to say the very least, but going forward in their postseason run, even though yes, I do think that matchups are still going to be a key factor, the Milwaukee Bucks' overall star power will be needed more than ever in this upcoming matchup, which will presumably be against the Boston Celtics. I still do think the Bucks can pull out a series win without a fully healthy Khris. I mean, we're talking about them having one of, if not the best player in the entire world, but all in all, with what does happen, I think this Bucks-Celtics matchup that we're all waiting to just finally happen is going to live up to all of the hype and then some of what the Nets-Celtics series had at the beginning. And of course, with the common trend of history tending to repeat itself, it currently looks like the Bucks are sitting in good hands. But you guys know, as we do in every single video, I need to hear what you guys have to think. So please let me know in the comments, with the current situation of the Milwaukee Bucks and what we've seen them do so far, how far do you think they'll make it in the 2022 playoffs, and do you think they have a chance of repeating this year? But also though guys, again, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course subscribe while you're down there. I mean, brand new NBA videos almost every single day with the playoffs here, you guys. Trust me when I say it, you do not want to miss out. But also, and as always, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you for watching. I appreciate you all more than anything. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.